Hi, my name is Aurora Yergo, and today I'm going to talk about globalization. So, let's start with what is globalization? What does it mean? Globalization is a process that involves economic, political, technological, social, and cultural spheres that help make the world a more connected place. To simplify it, look around you. You will see your clothes, your kitchen, and in your bathroom. You will see products of all over the world. And that is thanks to this, thanks to the globalization. It is possible because of it. Let's talk about the characteristics of the globalization. Manifests itself all over the world. It happens everywhere nowadays. Covers all aspects of human and social life. It impacts in very different ways depending on the level of development of each country. I'm going to talk about it a little bit later on the presentation. Its results cannot be anticipated. It depends on connectivity and telecommunications. It supposes despite reorganization of production. Globalized merchandise and favors uniformity of consumption, and it also forms a global financial model. Okay, a little bit of its advantages. The development of global market, interconnection of society with access to technological resources, greater access to information, circulation of imported goods and products, increase in foreign investment, exponential development of international trade, promotion of international relations, cultural exchange process, technological development, and increased tourism. Let's talk about the bad parts of globalization. Let's start with the economical disadvantage. Developed countries with great potential and economy scope have imposed themselves on developing countries and those with smaller economies. This generates a great economic imbalance. In developed countries, unemployment increased because multinational companies open offices in developing countries where labor and raw material are cheaper. An example of it is Mexico. Economic inequality among the citizens of a country, since large companies have greater profits and financial capacity than those of a smaller size and power. Depletion of natural resources and raw material in production process. Let's talk about cultural disadvantage. National identity can be negatively affected as a result of developed countries superimposing their cultures on those of developing countries through a great commercial and media push. Minority languages are lost. As time passes, many of indigenous traditions are modified by incorporating new customs generally from other countries. Now let's talk about social and political disadvantage. Globalization has been a challenge that national and international politics have had to face. In some cases, the measures taken have not been the most appropriate, and on the contrary, greater social, cultural, and economic inequality have been generated. Social inequality have limited access and use of various educational, technological, and economic resources in many social groups living in poverty. Increase in the number of confrontation between social groups that seek to vindicate their social, religious, and cultural values before those that have been implanted through globalization. The factors that we need to consider are culture, politics, economic, and social. These factors are very important to have in mind when we want to expand our company and internationalize it. Culture. It is very important to have the information about the country that we pretend to expand because every country is different. Even the states on the same country are different. They have different traditions, different religion, different belief, different gastronomy. Everything is different. So we need to have that in mind. An easy example of culture. On India, they don't eat beef. they don't eat that kind of meat. They believe that the cows are sacred, so they don't eat it. And here in Mexico, we eat everything. So it is important to have that in mind. We are not going to sell a beef burger on India when they don't eat meat. That will be very bad for our company. About the politics, we need to have in mind all the regulation that we need to consider to expand our business. Like in Europe, they only allow products whose packaging can be recycled. The economy, we need to be aware that not all the economic around the world have the same level. In the social, we need to be aware of some topics that are a little bit complicated to talk, or that we need a special way of communicate about it. In some countries, it is still illegal to be part of the LGBTQ community, and we need to be aware of it. We cannot make a campaign with that because it is a crime. So we need to be aware of all the social information. And I talk about it on my essay that the most effective way to be global is to be informed, to have all the information. It doesn't matter if we are here in Mexico or if we are in the other side of the world, if we are in China. We need to be aware of everything that happened in all the world. Like in the last year, 2020, it was chaotic, and every country have to deal with different kind of disaster, or something happened, and we need to be aware of it. We need to be aware of what is happening, what is going on in the world. And nowadays it is easy because we have internet, we have the social media, that now it's not just for fun, it is also for information, for education, and that is the best way to stay global, to be global. And thank you for your attention.